Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Dr. Lee Doomer. This is EPSY 5314, History of Education. I wanted to put together a brief video for you, just welcoming you to the course and providing you with an overview of some of the important information. In terms of the syllabus, please do read the syllabus very carefully this week. There's a lot of information in it, and the information is designed to give you as clear guidelines as possible in order to help you succeed. It also has important information about deadlines. So do take the time to read that. Another thing I wanted to mention, communication. I know we have a Blackboard site for our course. Many faculty prefer to use Blackboard for communication, submitting assignments or emails. My preference is that if you have any assignments to send me, emails, communication, send it to my office, email directly, lee.doomer@ttu.edu. Reason for that is sometimes Blackboard has a tendency to crash. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, if, for example, you have assignments that you need to send me that are in Blackboard, or an email communication in Blackboard, if the program crashes, I can't access it, send you feedback or reply. Microsoft Outlook, on the other hand, is a little more reliable. Like any program, it does crash occasionally, but it's a little more reliable than Blackboard. I'm not sure if some of you were around here. It's probably 2 or 3 summers ago when Blackboard went down during a summer session for about a week and a half, which for a summer session is 20-25% of the course time. So that could be pretty disruptive. I try and avoid that by encouraging assignments, emails, communication you send directly to my office, lee.doomer@ttu.edu. As you know, in addition to our text, we have several supplemental readings. Those are listed in the syllabus, and you can find them. You have the link in the syllabus. Takes you to my COE page. I'm not sure if it goes directly to the page for the readings, 5314, or if you just have to scroll down and go to the link for 5314. Either way, it will take you to all the supplemental readings for the course. Keep in mind, there are more readings on that list than we actually use in the course. We don't use all those readings. Every year as I go through and update the syllabus, I put some things in, I take some things out, and I like to leave the old information on there because students may find it useful for one reason or another. But if it's not an assigned reading, you're not responsible for reading, but if you do want to read it and discuss it, I'll certainly be glad to. Every week we'll have discussions, so the discussion board will open on Wednesday, it'll close on Friday. Discussion boards allow us to exchange different ideas, look at different perspectives, and this is really important in terms of history. History is more than just a set of facts and dates. It also involves reasons, explanations for historical change. And people can disagree very widely and sometimes very strongly about why historical change has occurred and whether it's for the good or not. And this allows us an opportunity to explore that. One of the things I want to emphasize is we're not just going to look at history of education, we're also going to look at different explanations for why historical change has taken place. And that's as important as understanding the facts themselves. But in terms of discussions, you need to do 2 things. One, post an initial posting of your own, and that is a minimum of 200 words. Some weeks, not all, but some weeks there are suggested discussion questions. Those are only suggested discussion questions. You do not have to use them. You're welcome to bring up anything that you think is important in a given week on the topic readings. So you do not have to use those questions. They're just suggested. You're certainly welcome to introduce any material, any thoughts you have on that week's readings of your own. And then you will post a reply, one reply. You can post more if you want, but minimum of one reply to someone else's post with a minimum of 100 words for each week. Now, some weeks you'll notice we have particularly large topics to talk about, where it may span 2 weeks. You'll still post each week. It'll be on the same overall course material, but because some of it spans 2 weeks, you'll still post each week rather than one post for just a given learning module. Other portion of the class are journal article critiques. And in the syllabus, scrolling down, you'll find some information on what that means. Each of you will prepare 4 journal article critiques over the course of the semester. I will assign the due dates for those next week. Usually during the first week, some people drop, other people come in after a few days. I'm going to wait until next week and when the enrollment is stabilized. And I'll assign each of you to Group 1 or Group 2. And that'll depend on what dates you'll turn in the papers, and I will have all that clearly outlined, dates and everything, what group you're in an email next week. But keep in mind, a journal article critique, I'll have more information for you next week, but keep in mind, a journal article critique is not like a book report. It's not where you simply summarize what was in it. In fact, no summary is necessary at all. You can skip any kind of summary. Really, what you want to do in a critique is take an article apart. What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses? How is it similar to, or how is it different from related scholarship? So it's going to require you to go to the library, you do some searches, look for books, journal articles to inform your writing. Keep in mind, we follow APA style very closely. But each of these we do at different points. I will turn them around back to you within a week after you submit it to me, so that you'll have another week before your next one is due, and you can use that feedback to improve your performance. We really try and discourage people achieving just some plateau, quiescent level of performance. We really want to see improvement over time for all of us, myself included. We're constantly learning, constantly improving. So the goal for this is to help you look at history critically, thoughtfully, and to be an intelligent and discriminating consumer of historical research. Keep in mind also, these articles all have to do with history of Western education. Now, they don't have to do with the history of Western education during a given module or learning period. They can span anything from ancient Greece up to recent times here in the United States. But it has to be Western education. That's the focus of the course. That's the way the course is designed and cataloged. And it has to pertain to history. And by pertaining to history, I mean it has to be centrally focused. The article has to be about history. Doesn't mean that a literature review for an article that refers to the history of a topic and then goes on to some statistical study done in the present time. That is not a historical article. A historical article, central focus, central purpose is history of a given topic, of education, some aspect of the Western world. What I encourage you to do with this, I encourage you to use this as an opportunity to deepen your knowledge in whatever your field or area of inquiry might be. So, for example, if you are in a special education program, interested in autism education, you might use this as an example to collect 4 journal articles having to do with the history of autism in the United States or any aspect of Western society, but use this as an opportunity to deepen your knowledge of your particular field. Same for anything else. But I would really encourage you to get the most out of this learning experience and use it in a way that helps you better understand the history of your field of study. And again, I will have more information for you next week on what a journal article critique is, how to conduct a critique, and information such as that when I send out assignments for groups. So let's say I wanted to cover welcome, communication, readings, discussion, article critiques. I think that just about covers it. So, as I said before, any communication email, please send it directly to my office email, as well as assignments, lee.doomer@ttu.edu. You're always welcome to call as well. I'm here typically 5 days a week. I have office hours, Mondays, Wednesdays from noon to 3. However, I am on a lot of dissertation committees, and sometimes just because the necessity of scheduling meetings with student and multiple faculty, they may overlap or cut right across my office hours. So if you wanted to come and visit me, please send an email or call in advance, just in case there is a conflict and I'm downstairs on the second floor in a meeting. I hate for you to have to travel all this way for nothing. Also, I'm here 5 days a week, so if office hours don't work, I am sure we can find some time, a different time, a different day of the week that'll work for you. I'm typically here most of the time. But my office door is always open, so if you happen to be around in the building, you have a question, the door, you don't need to make an appointment, whether it's office hours or not. If the door's open, just come on in. I'm here. I think that was about everything I wanted to cover. I know we're introducing ourselves this week, a little bit about our own backgrounds. Mentioned Dr. Lee Doomer. I've been here at Texas Tech 18 years. I came here in 1999. I did my graduate work at the University of Pittsburgh. My MA is in higher education, and my PhD is in what is called social, historical, and philosophical foundations of education. One could be a generalist across all three areas, or one could specialize in one. I specialize in history of education, particularly history of higher education. My other area, pardon me, qualitative research. Those are the two main areas that I teach. Almost everything I've done has been history, education, higher ed, and qualitative research, except for maybe 1-2 pieces over the last 20-some years. My free time, I'm married. I have 3 boys, 3 children. My oldest is 17. He's a senior now in high school. My youngest is in 4th grade. My second son was born in 2004, and he died, unfortunately, just a year after his first birthday in 2005. But still a daily part of my life. My spare time when I'm not here, I enjoy home improvement projects, gardening in particular. Another interest I've had the last, for about 3 years, I haven't been there for about a year, but really enjoyed lately taking classes here at a dojo in town, Japanese sword, which I find really fascinating. I've had so many projects around the house, I haven't been there for about a year, but I look forward to going back this fall. I've found that has really helped me be a better instructor in terms of what I do, and that aspect of being a professor. I am not a very athletic, physical person, so being in an athletic setting, the dojo, sometimes can be fairly strenuous, and working with, we're a Shinken dojo, we use real swords, exactly what a samurai would have used on a battlefield hundreds of years ago. Completely new terrain for me, completely new learning experience, and it's reminded me how challenging, difficult, and sometimes even frustrating it can be to be a student in unfamiliar terrain. And I think that has helped in some ways make me a little better, a little more patient, effective instructor. I'm not going to suggest you all buy yourselves a Japanese sword and go to the dojo. I wouldn't recommend that. But it is fascinating. I think many of you can relate to it, how we find some things in our personal lives outside of work that actually help us be better at what we do in our work. Something I wanted to share with you. At any rate, that's what I do when I'm not here. Look forward to reading your introductions. If you'd like, I can do one of these videos every week. Let me know what you think. I'll be glad to do so. Last thing I wanted to mention is you probably notice under the learning modules, most of the learning modules, almost all of them actually have a video to accompany it, or at least they used to. All of those videos have been lost. I don't know what happened, but media site, technical problem. At any rate, they're gone, which is a lot of recordings. So I'm going to get back to work putting those together. They may not be ready ahead of schedule, but I plan to at least try and start recording those again, making new recordings and having them ready at very least Monday of each week. If I can try and do maybe 2 a week, maybe I'll be able to get some up a little earlier, but it's a fairly time-consuming process. And it's a lot of time out of the schedule, so I hope you'll appreciate that they may not be ready until the Monday of a given week, but I will be doing my best. At any rate, looking forward to a productive semester. If you have any questions, call, email, walk in the door if you're here in the building, if the door's open. If you want to visit, please give me a call, make sure that I'm here. And even if it's not a day of office hours, I'm typically here, so I can pretty much accommodate anyone's schedule. Looking forward to a productive semester, and I will be in touch. Bye for now.